wish I could have that strawberry. Well, I mean, I'm sure you know what that is. No, I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that strawberry. Well, I mean, I'm sure you know what that is. No, I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that strawberry. Well, I mean, I'm sure you know what.
Hi. Hello. I appreciate all of you being here tonight. I don't usually do Foodie Beauty. And so I know there's probably so many other places that you could be, but you're here with me and I really appreciate it. My name's Ray. I think most of you know. And obviously I'm coming in more as my role as a registered nurse. And we won't be here too long tonight. But I do like to try to touch base with the original girl world community. Well, I actually started with multi-level marketing stuff. That's actually where I started, but then I saw, it's an evolution, but I appreciate it, guys. So let me just say hi, Brianna. Thank you for being here. Jennifer, thank you for being here too. I appreciate it. Honest Sunflower, it's great to see you. Anna's here. She's wanting to find out more about Foodie. Oh my God. Lori, thank you. So kind. Gifted of Life and Vibe membership. Gosh, I almost hope Irish Eyes, who's not going to be here except for Tim. Tim is like, every time I'm like, I won't do Tim. He's only done a review video. There's nothing. He pops out one where he's so miserable and complaining. Eliana Grassi got that. It's probably coming from the Foodieverse, so that's probably pretty good that she got gifted that particular membership. You have no interest in Foodie, you're only interested in Tim, but you're here for the group. Well, the thing is the interesting part is that there's a lot of common traits between Foodie Beauty and Tim. And now I'm finding out there might be more in common between Tim and Jolene, and hence the reason why she has so many last names. Jolene's becoming an interesting side character, but we're here for Foodie, guys, from Florida. Well, coming in. I hope you're not too cold out there. Tim said it was freezing in Florida. So we're going to take a quick peek at actually 2 videos from Loony Tubes. And we're not going to watch both of either of them, but we're just going to watch the parts that kind of refer most to Chantel's health. So let's just get that screen shared. And I really appreciate you all for being here. This Irish guy is here. Who is Foodie? Oh, gosh, she's a legend on YouTube. Foodie is an absolute legend on YouTube. I don't even know where to begin. She's these characters are, I tell you, somebody we're gonna start from here. Oh, the way she cleans the
I got some stuff to do.
Countertop kills me. Just oh my gosh. So this one is entitled, and obviously, if you want to watch these videos in full through the Looney Tunes channel, they thankfully kind of shrink the videos and speed up her voice. So, like I said, we're just gonna watch the start of this one because where she's in the kitchen and she's talking about giving up the junk food again. Like we haven't been on this one before. She's going to be pulling those Cheez-Its out the trash can. Hold on. In a celebration for Foodie, I decided to bring out a box of Cheez-Its. She's saying she has to give up hers. See, Chantel, if you just ate in moderation to begin with, and had a box of Cheez-It last you like an extended period of time like mine do. Sometimes I forget I have them up there. This is a smoked cheddar flavor, and it was actually very good. They you could have it, but the problem is you get 3 of these boxes and you take them down in one sitting. All right, let's just take it away, and I'll give you my thoughts, because Chantel is also starting to rely a lot more on Chat GPT to be her medical provider, and that also matches to Tim. And it matches with how narcissists are going to love something like Chat GPT, because it allows them to hear exactly what they want to hear without any real nuance and without any citation as to where the sources are from. Let me make you guys the stars. There you go. She lives in Canada. Yes, she does. Jesus for Roscoe, not Roscoe, not Rocco, but I wish I had chosen Rocco, actually. After I'd already put Roscoe down, I was like, darn, I should have chosen Rocco, which was the name I wish I had chosen for him. They actually have, oh my gosh, it's the usual, guys. I'm so sorry. We just got back from the walk, as we did, because we just all had dinner. And the one thing that Chantel does not do, which would be great for helping her with insulin resistance. These dogs are insane. Can you please find a toy? Hey, I know you guys love play fighting, but seriously, can we, hey, could you guys please just find a toy? Good boy, Roscoe. Junebug, let it go. Junebug, please. Yeah. Oh, you have a toy. Oh, gosh. They're playing tug of war over here. Sorry, guys. I try to get them not be so noisy. Yeah, we need you to fight. Yeah. Yes, the Chat GPT. Yes. You have to be really cautious. Like when I was using that AI thing, most of the bulk of that demand letter was from the language that I had already had from a real life professional attorney, and I gave that to it. So it didn't really have a lot of work to do. I'm curious to see how it works on the other end. It is doing so far what it says, and we'll catch up with that, because I had something in my mailbox today. No, it wasn't a check from Tim. Oh, you love the noise? Oh yeah. Now they're I think they're working on some bones or something. They might be. I don't know. You're okay, Junebug. It was getting loud for me. I couldn't hear straight. But I guess they found a toy they were tug of war. So thank you guys for watching. Give us a like when you come in. All this extra money I get does help. It's not a ton of money, but it's significantly able to help pay for my rescue dogs, which are the dogs that are the least wanted and have been the longest often in the shelters. So I appreciate that. As many of you know. But if you all knew, what kind of tea am I drinking? Oh, I'm still drinking the Bigelow's Earl Grey. I am on the Earl Grey at the moment. And so yeah, I've got the Bigelow's Earl Grey this evening. So yeah, but still on the Earl Grey. So yeah, I'll be slurping this in the background because it's cold in Virginia. But yes, so cheers, everybody. And as I was saying, one thing that thank you for asking. That was very nice. Oh yeah, Earl Grey, yeah. Damn, it should have been for your legal fees. Well, some of it's gone to legal fees too. I promise you. It's going to be probably. Like I said, I'm curious, but we'll catch up with all of that in members only. Well, that's just the secret club. Okay, back to Foodie. And so, and kind of parlaying that into my dogs and I and what we did this evening, and something that she would benefit not being on Scooty Scoot. And somebody who is a type 2 diabetic like Chantel already gaining insulin resistance. Well, one way she's already taking MPH, like long acting insulin, basal insulin, trying to help her pancreas with something. It's slowly not producing anything, which is meaning it's becoming more and more resistant to producing insulin, which is not great. So in order to help anybody, I mean, obviously, you know what you eat, but it's about your level of activity and what you do after you eat. So foodie, as we know, is somebody who just sits and eats and does not move afterwards. And what you need to do. Was he reckless and illegal riding the e-bike? Oh gosh. Good for you, passive. We'll get him. Don't you worry. You need to join the Life and Vibe membership so you can find out what we've been doing behind the scenes to make Tim miserable. I wonder if he picked up his mail from the office today. So insulin resistance. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, it's when it's. Let me share this page. Not to do the AI oversight. Okay, so let's go into here. So this is from the CDC, insulin resistance and type. Okay, so that's it. So insulin resistance is when your body is exposed to too much blood sugar, and over an extended period of time, you can develop insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a lot of blood sugar enters your bloodstream. Your pancreas pumps out high levels of insulin to get more blood sugar into your cells. Over time, your cells stop responding well to insulin, which is known as resistance. Your blood sugar remains high, which causes your pancreas to keep releasing more insulin to keep your cells to respond. Eventually, your pancreas can't keep up and your blood sugar keeps increasing. So that's where you have to get insulin to help you because your pancreas just no longer can keep up with it. And your blood cells are no longer able to take the insulin in, or they're not responding to it. Your muscles, which are, because the insulin is the key to the door to your cells to get the blood sugar into them in order for your different organs to do different functions. For example, your muscles to produce energy in order for you, to produce, walk or do whatever. And so that's why it's so important after you eat that you need to get out and actually. Sorry, I'm not showing the right. Sorry, I'm showing the wrong page. This is the CDC one. Sorry. Too many tabs. So this is the part about the insulin resistance. So high blood sugar is damaging to the body. So your body keeps trying to remove the excess blood sugars. It stores extra sugar in your liver and muscles. When they're full, the liver sends the remaining sugar to be stored as body fat, causing weight gain. Insulin resistance sets the stage for pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So Chantel is already insulin resistant at this point. In order for her to manage this, if you get shaky and hangry after eating sugar, does that mean you already have insulin resistance? Well, that would be difficult to say. The only way to find out is that you would have to be tested for insulin resistance. As in, you would have to find out if you were having any pre-diabetes, blood sugars, or any diabetics, and you have to take a certain number of different tests in order to actually confirm a genuine diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. So you have to have had a hemoglobin A1C and preferably a 2-hour glucose test where they actually give you, I think it's 30 grams of glucose, and then they test to see after that 2 hours how your body has reacted to that. That with an A1C, which gives a number of how your body's been responding to its ability to manage its blood sugar over a 3-month period. Between those two, you'll get a better one than if you do a fasting blood glucose or a rapid testing of blood glucose. Both of those, I mean, you could do a fasting glucose along with A1C for diabetes type 2 confirmation or type 1, depending, but generally the other two are preferable. So, yeah. So those are usually those. And metformin smells. Oh, yeah. And they usually now they don't like using just metformin on its own. That was a very common approach. The ADA now does recommend that you get two-prong approach to it. Now is probably administering more than one medication to try to really get those numbers down quickly. They used to give people like too much time to try to get their blood sugars under control or their A1C under control. And now it's like we understand how damaging diabetes is to the body, either type 1 or type 2. And so it is necessary to get good control of the disease as soon as possible. And there are certain things that can factor into why there's changes. Women going through perimenopause and menopause can have alterations in their blood sugars numbers. How you sleep at night is very important. And all of these other things about the physical activity. And that, especially after a meal, that's one of the biggest things that they say. And it doesn't have to necessarily mean going outside and taking a walk. It's doing the opposite of what Foodie is doing, which is just sitting down and doing stuff. Sitting down to cook, sitting down, and she eats a meal and she's sitting down, all of those things have led to her becoming more, actually have led to her becoming type 2 diabetic, more increased propensity for that. And why she will not ever get it under control, no matter how much she talks to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not the one out there having to actually do the work, Chantel. And I know you don't like, and that's where this is a problem, is because for narcissists, it's perfect because they get to hear without any pushback, that she's giving ChatGPT pictures of a filtered self and asking it if it thinks she's attractive. I mean, what the Jesus? Seriously. What if you gave it an actual unfiltered picture, Chantel? I wonder what it would say then. That's what somebody needs to do. Somebody needs to get an unfiltered picture of Chantel and upload that to ChatGPT and see what it says about her face then, and see if it says she looks pleasant and whatever else and full lipped and whatever the filter. And did she get lip fillers done? Because she was complaining about her lips hurting. Sorry, your job, you fast all day. That's not always a good idea if you are diabetic, because you definitely want to, if you are diabetic, you definitely don't want to have that, because it will spike your blood sugar rapidly because you're only eating one time. That's why I'm not a fan of the intermittent fasting. I think that's very hard on the pancreas. Pancreas does better, throughout the day. I'm much more of a, especially because I take supplements in the morning, and you have to make sure when you're taking supplementation, whether it's a water soluble or a fat soluble supplement, because depending on which it is, depends on how it should be taken or how effective it will be. If you're taking fat soluble medications or supplements, I should say, like vitamin D, then you definitely need to have that with a meal, because otherwise you're not actually going to synthesize that vitamin correctly, and then it's just a waste of vitamin. You're just going to pee it out without really getting proper use of it. And especially this time of year, vitamin D and zinc are two of my arsenals. I'm not a big supplement person, but those two are ones that I definitely like to take, especially the vitamin D, because just being inside. Eating well, develop type 2 disease. Well, the thing is, and that's what I've understood, it's not about that. That's the thing, is like, if you could be exercising once a day, an hour, like going to your workout, and if you're the rest of the time, even eating well, not actually being active directly after eating, you potentially could still have issues. Like the exercise, like bundled as it is actually not as effective as making sure right after you eat that you have 15 minutes of activity. And that could just be doing housework, getting the dishes done, something. But the one thing you don't want to do is sit and then just and eat and remain sitting. That is what they say actually is probably more beneficial for that than anything else at the end of the day. So, she had Addison's. Well, that's yeah. Well, that's gonna be part of it too. But one of the things that I've heard recently is that bundling of the exercise isn't always effective. It's not for this. You're actually, like I said, just making sure that after you eat, take a walk, do the dishes, just don't sit down immediately. That's why I always try to do something, because ever since I've understood that, it's something I've tried to incorporate simply into my routine as best I can. I tend to be very busy anyway. Oh, gosh, the dogs are out of water. Hold on. So I need to get the dogs some water. Hey, Catherine, come on in. Just taking a multivitamin help. I mean, sometimes the multivitamins I'm not a fan of, because they're often the concentration of each of the medication, of each of the actual supplements, say for example the vitamin D or the zinc or whatever they're combining. I think if you are able to take them singularly, you're probably going to get the more accurate amount. You're going to get much smaller doses. And so I think for certain things, you're just better finding the ones that are probably recommended by your doctors. Those are the only reason why I take the two I do is because they are provider recommended, not because I just kind of picked supplements off the shelf. So with the advice of my provider, I take those particular supplementations. So I would always try to follow up, because anything that you don't really need, your body is just going to excrete, and then you're just taxing your kidneys, and you definitely don't want to be doing that. So I think for children, for elderly, who are not going to be swallowing or wanting to do a lot of pills, that's probably the reason why we do multivitamins. I think for most adults who are still able to swallow and stuff, I think if you are able to do the individual ones, you're going to get the actual milligram amount. I'm dubious with the multivitamins for adults. I wouldn't do that. Is insulin resistance a type 1 diabetic? Well, they would have had that issue completely because they just don't have insulin. So they really wouldn't have had insulin resistance because they just never had insulin. That's the problem for type 1 diabetics, is that their pancreas does not produce insulin. So they are already not those. So their issue is different. Now they can get the same ailments due to the process of diabetes, the inflammatory process, the same sort of issues as far as like symptom-wise, hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, and so forth. But no, this is something that's specifically for type 2 diabetics. And that's why they say here, if you have insulin resistance, there's good news. This is why we talk about pre-diabetic, because you're never going to be pre-diabetic as a type 1. So no, this is just type 2 diabetes. But when I refer to type 1 about how it's more to do with how the disease process, once it's actually become like you are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, you then are going to have similar trajectory of the disease as a type 1 diabetic, as far as having potential for having retinopathy and neuropathy. And that was something about people talking about Chantel not feeling, she wasn't complaining about the pain of the boil. And I'm thinking, but if Chantel is a type 2 diabetic, very uncontrolled, unmanaged, then she probably has potentially neuropathy happening, which means that she can have things going on and not feel that and not feel the pain from it, which is why it's so important for diabetics to check their feet all the time, because they could do things and hurt their feet or have something happen to a nail or a toe and not even realize it's going on. And so Chantel's a very negligent type 2 diabetic. She's very poor in her health, very poor. So if you have insulin resistance, there's good news. You can reverse it by making your cells more sensitive to insulin. So obviously, if somebody's a type 1 diabetic and they're taking insulin, obviously, then physical activity and all these things are going to then benefit them with their ability to uptake that insulin that they're having to be actually given fully. Because that's why they have to wear like monitors and, they have more complexity. Physical activity. Okay. Don't wait until you're diagnosed with pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes to start moving more. The earlier you take action, the better off you'll be. And even if you do that, a slight change in your lifestyle could put you close to anything happening. As I found out, I was like right on the cusp, becoming pre-diabetic, because I was working nights as an RN and it was horrible. And I was working a lot of shifts, wasn't getting any exercise, getting terrible sleep. This was during the pandemic-y time. And along with, menopause, which also kind of isn't great for women, kind of tips us up a little bit too. So we ladies definitely need to be a little bit cautious as we get older. We definitely kind of teeter. And I'd had great, no problems and been a runner and everything else. Yeah, we haven't even really looked at Foodie yet. Yeah, you can all march in place. Absolutely. Well, sitting is the new smoking. It's, that's why I've had doctors who've insisted on having, forgot the security guards are going nuts out here. We got one dog on a chew bone and the other one's taking out the neighbors. Always go all action at this household. It sounds a lot more active than it is. So yeah, that's why it's like, anybody who's got that's why truck drivers have notoriously bad issues around heart disease and stuff. When I used to listen to doctors' radio and they'd have like all these different shows and stuff, I promise you, people calling in the most to Sirius XM on the doctor's radio were truck drivers, always like trying to get their health, because they have to sit all the time driving. Obviously, they're away from home. They'll be getting, food choices from truck stops, which are not always the healthiest, and it has led for them often having really bad cardiac conditions very early. So it really is damaging. So like I said, it doesn't have to be a walk or like hardcore exercise. Just like after you've had, your breakfast in the morning, just 15 minutes, go take your shower then, just make sure or vacuum, take your dog for a walk, put the dishes away. Housework does do enough activity. Believe it or not, chores, you will burn up some energy with some chores. That's for sure. Obviously, taking a walk after dinner and digesting your food properly. The people who go for walks at work during lunch are going to be a lot better off than, people who are just, going out, sitting with their colleagues over lunch and then returning back to the office to sit some more. What's some good resistance exercise that I've been told? That's what I've been told to do. Yes. Oh, no. Well, I would suggest taking a look at a channel from a physical therapist who specializes in over 50s physical therapy. And I think he talks about different types of resistance exercises. It's on YouTube. You can just pick up it and they will let you know. So I personally have in my home 4 or 5 pound weights. And so, when the commercial breaks come on, once I, not that like right after this tonight, I promise you, I'll just be going straight, pretty much getting ready for bed. But, in doing those little curls, and getting it out. I promise you, having put that fence up 15 times yesterday, my arms are killing me. My job keeps me very physical because I'm with a 2-year-old who's going to soon be a 3-year-old. And so obviously I am up and down for a good part of my day. And lifting her too. So it's pretty active. Yeah. So, all right. So this other part they say, because this is interesting to Chantel, and she kind of passed all this because she's already diabetic. But this is still important even after you've had the diagnosis. But if you haven't, then this is this is the good news. So, and with the physical activity, like I said, it doesn't mean, finding that hour in the day to go to the gym, because just bundling it into one part of the day and then the rest of the time you eat and then you're sitting is actually going to be damaging. So that 1 hour you get in the gym is not going to reverse what happens during the time after you've just, decided, yeah, we're going to go out to dinner, stuff's going to happen. But that's why it's so good if you go to dinner, take a walk. I often, when I go out for dinner with friends, obviously, it's one of the reasons why I have dogs in a condo. It literally forces me all the time to go for walks. And I just base them around all of our eating schedules. That's kind of how I do it, at least, to sort of keep that way. Because I don't have time for a gym membership like I used to. That's more for I think fantasy purposes. Oh, well, as we get older, for obviously bone health, it is good to do weight and resistance with weights. But you can just get some hand weights and find some good videos on YouTube if you don't want to go out to a space. I just have a bunch of stuff at the house that I use. Obviously, weight loss, if you are overweight or obesity is another, or obese, I think that's an incorrect. Somebody at the CDC, copyright editor, I catch stuff like this all the time, is another great way to relieve strain on your body and increase your insulin sensitivity. I used to be a school teacher, so I have an eye for catching it. Eating a balanced diet. So this is the part where we're going to get over to Chantel now and her healthy diet habits. Eating a balance with non-starchy vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins helps to reduce your blood sugar. That doesn't sound like the carnivore diet that Tim likes to eat. He cooked that steak in butter and avocado oil. Which is fascinating. They will decrease the amount of insulin your pancreas releases to help reverse insulin resistance. See, there's a good reason to have fruits and vegetables. So Tim, assuming that just taking out the carbs will be beneficial to his blood sugar, is not necessarily the case, because you need these other things to help with it. Okay. The other things that are important: managing stress, getting enough sleep. This is where I'm terrible. I sleep, but just I fall asleep on the couch a lot with the dogs. So I'm always like, after I live stream, I'll be like, oh, let me just get a quick, TV show and wind down for a minute, And next thing I know, I look at my watch and it's 2 a.m. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta be up at 5:30. I'm trying to scramble and brush my teeth and wash my face because inevitably I've passed out without doing either of those two things. Oh, it's horrible. I'm trying to change on that, but especially after writing papers and stuff, I would just pass out on the couch with the dogs. Anyway, so that's something I need to get better with. They also help you reach your health goals. So that's that, and that's 2024. So insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So Chantel is probably at a place with her type 2 diabetes that she is unable to reverse. You can't ever, you can manage it at that point, because once you get that thing on your patient chart, that's it. Even if you would be then considered, diet controlled, is how they phrase it on your chart. Diet controlled type 2 diabetic or whatever. So I know people don't like to see that stuff on your chart. Don't worry. It's better that we know than not know. And, I don't know if brushing teeth wakes me up and I won't sleep. You have to brush and floss early in the evening. I pass out. I'm one of these people. I will still fall asleep. I just put on like some little bit of go to sleep type sound music, and I just pass out. I sleep easily. I was one of these people who would sleep on buses going on holiday. I get bored, so I'll just fall asleep. All right, let's get to Foodie. We're here for the Foodie Reacts. All right, so we talked a little bit about insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and Chantel is long from this. Chantel is no longer insulin resistant. Chantel her pancreas is waving a flag. In fact, if you are a member of the Good Life, there is an emoji that is the sad pancreas. So drop some sad pancreases in the chat, everybody, and some glucometers, because we're here to get started with this party. And I appreciate you all being here. It's a fun little group. All right, take it away, Chantel. I'm trying to kick up back with Foodie, so I'll get more people for you guys to have fun with. All right, Chantel, we're just going to watch the first few minutes. We're not watching 43 minutes. Don't worry. This lady live streams like 20 hours a day.
Today, I'm just packing up my food I'm going to give away today. I'm going to give them all my open packaged junk that I don't want. And if they don't want to eat it, they can throw it out. But something tells me that maybe they want it. I'm going to give them the unopened stuff too. But
open. This is where Chantel is just wild and out of control. She wants to donate open food packages to a food pantry service for people in need in order for the staff to have to toss it out. Now, the closed bags of things, they may then be able to use. They may, because if it's a sealed bag, little bag of Cheez-Its or something, they can throw that into a little snack bag or something for people, or put it out in snacks for people to choose. So that's not a terrible thing. But open stuff, shit, already gotten your dirty paws inside of it, girl? No, come on. Have a decency and respect for people. Jesus. And that kitchen was so poorly designed. She showed us where the fridge was like right in the corner, where like one of the doors doesn't even like open all the way. What a nightmare.
good morning, starshine. The earth says hello. You sprinkle above us, we tinkle below. Marie F, I'm giving it to a family of 5. Did I work out? No. Hey, YouTube lover. I did not work out last night, but today I will be. What is this? I needed some beets for my juicing.
Oh, no. Okay, so some folk might be unfamiliar with Chantel, which is great that people are crossing over from the Timmerverse over to the Foodieverse to get more people. Those vegetables are going to rot. Okay. Chantel is somebody who unless it's coming out of a packet or out of a takeout box, that thing's going to rot. She's just, and it's so sad because we've seen some of the most beautiful looking vegetables and fruit be wasted in Kuwait.
Oh, my berries fell out of the bag. I need a carrot. Not good. You guys are just going to be like, here we go. Healthy cycle. I know. Blackberries. Hold on, guys. Celery? Cucumber?
Oh, no, she's not giving.
Have you guys ever tried?
No, she's not giving. No, Chantel's on a cycle of health now. Somehow. I guess she's decided that she's going to take her health again seriously. For the millionth time. So she's purging the house of the bad foods, which we don't believe. And she's getting the fresh foods. So she's supposedly going to juice those beets. Which she does enjoy eating these things. I mean, like, put her with a plate of some pickled beets and that girl will go to town.
Fatso nut butters? Fatso nut butter. It's so good. There's like no sugar in it. Fatso. People on like keto eat this a lot. But
no.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm out of the nut butter I had, so
nut butter.
This water, I don't care what anyone says, okay?
No,
if I have to work extra just to afford a decent water budget, I'll do it.
Oh no, Chantel bought some bougie nut butter. Some type of bougie nut butter. She's on a health kick. Promise you, everything we see that's healthy is going to rot in the house. She's going to be cussing the day she gave away the Cheez-Its. It's going to be a mad dash on the scooty scoot to get to the... Oh, somebody asked her if she's like a senior or something, an old lady or something, because she's on the scooter. She's like, no. It's like, girl, it's because you're on a scooter. What do you expect?
Because I'll tell you something.
Oh, she wild.
I'm sorry, but
she is wild.
This water is like the best water. It just is so, like, you want to drink it. That's how good, clean it tastes. It's a Canadian water company and it comes from like glaciers. The berries fell out. The berries. I'm gonna put this in the freezer.
This is it. Chantel just went and got some bougie stuff of some place. Like random nut butter with cucumber. She's gonna do cucumbers and nut butter? What's the combination, Chantel? And I know, and obviously I'm a registered nurse, so you're thinking, why am I not supporting her on this? Well, of course, obviously I support anybody who's legitimately making a change for health. But Chantel this is why I put out an eating disordered eating trigger warning. Because Chantel is very disordered in her eating. Oh, you're okay. Chantel needs deep inpatient therapy to get over her really the crux of her eating issues. This isn't gonna last.
With my issues and my weight and height, should be drinking about 3 to 3.5 liters per day. Right back on track today, guys. There's no, I'll start again next on Monday.
Yes, she has to sit to put groceries away and she has to sit to cook. And she's literally been using her scooter to move herself around her rented apartment now in Canada. But she was born Catholic, but now she's supposedly converted to being a Muslim revert. Tell you the story it's worse and it's wild. Catherine, you need to fill them in the chat. Catherine knows the law.
No. We start again today. Okay, let me get a bag for these people who are coming. Hello, everyone. There's people coming to get some stuff today. I'm giving it away. I'm giving it away. Oh, it doesn't take much to look around and find people in need. No, it's not a waste because it's going to people who need it more than me.
Chantel, yeah. Chantel is just so giving and so charitable. What about the medication? Curious to know what medication she's got so performatively. Is that her metformin on the counter? I don't even know what medication she's on supposedly for her diabetes now. I know she was supposedly on some long-acting insulin at one point, metformin, and something else.
So it's actually a good thing. Just the junk food that I've been having The Cheez-Its are going.
It's a good question.
Cheez-Its. Bye, Cheez-Its.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Bertie.
I ordered you in a moment of weakness. Stovetop too, you can get lost body. You're high in sodium and I have kidney problems. Baby, you are good, but I'm sorry we have to part ways. Because you know that you're not healthy. And I shouldn't be eating you anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Sidekicks will...
Chantel, is this supposed to be healthy? Or are you giving, I hope you're giving these away. Oh my God. I used to live. That's how you know Canada's cousins to England. I used to live on those Knorr packets. They used to do one with it was like a tangy tomato sauce with some type of noodle, like a rotini noodle or something. I don't know. Back in the day in the UK. Oh my God. I think that was a substance feed for me as a student. I don't think I've had a Knorr packet and I don't know when. I take a look and see what the sodium on that thing is, and I'm like, oh my God. None of this stuff. That's my recommendation as an RN. If your great grandma can't, pronounce the words on the back of that packet and doesn't know what half of those ingredients are, you shouldn't be eating it. That's my fault.
So will some gravy too. I hope they appreciate it. I know they will, even if they don't. It doesn't matter. Chef Clarity, see you later. I want to give them stuff they can make like a meal out of, kind of. I don't like that rice. That's why it's not being eaten.
Yeah, that's not a start. That she was already supposedly on a long acting in Kuwait. So supposedly she'd already been ramped up, because you never start that high, because you need to ensure that somebody isn't going to go hypoglycemic. So if that's supposedly 15 her start and then to go to 17, her numbers, and we know they are. We've seen her blood sugar. She has been uncontrolled and unmanaged for years now. I mean, her body is just wrecked from diabetes at the type 2 at this moment. Absolutely wrecked. She has been so uncontrolled and unmanaged. Yeah, I'm not shocked. But she was on one before, but I've looked, because there was a time when we were talking about it. I remember I pulled out my drug handbook and I went over all the starting doses, and I just remember you start at like 5. You never start that high, because you could drop the person's blood sugar to, drastically, especially if they're using other drugs like metformin or anything else. You always have to be cognizant of a risk of hypoglycemia. So they're not scared that she's going to go hypoglycemic, obviously. And especially the way she eats. They saw that. They would never be scared. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have at your house, Chantel, because you're going to go eat 600 calories of buttery popcorn in a minute. So what difference does it make?
I don't like it. So I'm going to put it in some Ziploc.
Terrible.
I ate my basmati rice that I had. I don't like this kind of rice. I don't know why.
Didn't say that.
When I needed something from
She's a dainty. She claims 350 pounds. We know these. Yo, she's Gen X. I'll tell you, this lady's wild. You don't even know the half of it. Hey, at least she's not high on camera. She seems to have been saving. There was a while where she got back to Canada from living in Syria. She was going hog wild in those marijuana stores. Those cannabis shops.
Pantry, it was nice to get Cheez-Its. Oh. Yeah, it's nice to get, and it's like new stuff. It's not expired. I just bought it in like a manic episode, so. Or whatever you want to call it.
I know.
Unfortunately, we can't scoot until it's out of the high minuses. It's too cold, guys, for like a month, so we gotta hibernate these. I could maybe scoot outside for a few minutes, but maybe a bit later. There's a lot of people there, and I just don't want to deal with it. So some rice for them.
Great. Has she spilt the stuff on the counter yet? Oh, there it is. The way she cleans up the counter, then we'll move on to the Chat GPT poll. The way she cleans up the counter is epic today.
Yeah, if you want pint size. Do you know how many people, Carmela, tell me to stop every day? What's morally wrong is trying to force people to change in a way that you want them to, or to do something you want them to, when, you know, or over criticizing is also morally wrong. Just saying, and annoying. Like what people.
Chantel on the more high ground as always. I can't believe too that after being demonetized from YouTube, that her content is still focused around food. She's not obviously understood that her, weight loss journey and how she, approaches her eating and her disordered eating are the reasons why she lost her monetization on YouTube. She's not going to get back on YouTube with this content. It's got yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Chantel's been this is the best part. Wait, watch this part for Chantel and her hand hygiene.
People can tell me all they want. You shouldn't eat that. But does that mean I'm going to do it? No. Like, you should worry about your own life is what you should do. Just saying.
Well, Chantel, the difficulty is that you had a channel that talked about your weight loss journeys, just like Amberlynn Reed. And you obviously pivoted to or you started with mukbang, but you've tried to bring in some of your health hawks into your channel. And the difficulty is that, yes, nobody should tell people what to eat, but it is questionable when somebody is a raging type 2 diabetic, uncontrolled and unmanaged, starting with her Canadian doctor on a 15 of a long acting at night. That's really high. That means that they're not even scared that your blood sugar get and I wouldn't be potentially either. If I probably saw your A1C, because that's the one number we never get to hear about, Chantel, is your hemoglobin A1C. And recently your hand size for your rice went from like a palm to like 2 full hands of rice. Yeah, you still eating rice. How can you eat something that's got an elevated glycemic index like rice? I know nobody should criticize, but nobody should be a type 2 diabetic out here showing anything around their terrible eating habits and not explaining to people just how jacked up your body is at this point. Because it is. And then talking about this glow up health hawk. It's always just the narcissism, the avoidance, the she's the classically somebody who is gosh, I can't even think of the term I'm looking for. She's the child that grew up and obstinate. It's a different term. Oh, you know,
I'm talking about. Smoothie bees. Oh my gosh, all this rice. Like I'm 40, almost 42. The onus is not on any of my viewers to change me or to be responsible for my choices, Carmela. So I don't know what to tell you. They're not responsible for my choices, and I'm not responsible for your feelings.
Well, Chantel, if your viewers aren't responsible for your choices, then why did you beg them for money to get out of Syria? And then get like $10,000 from your viewers to restart your life in Canada. The problem is when you're having people and you openly beg for money to fund your lifestyle and you put all this business out here, then look at how she's cleaning the counter, guys. She's using her hand to clean the countertop. She don't even have a washcloth. So clean. And the cat up there all the time too. I'm surprised she's not giving that rice on the counter out to the poor people who are at the food bank. But Chantel, when you put that much business out here and you put your bad health business out, then it becomes my business as a medical professional to tell people that what you do around your type 2 diabetes and probably many other conditions that we know you have, that shortness of breath, that is coming because your heart is not being able to handle everything that's going on. And it's probably being attacked by that type 2 diabetes, because what you don't seem to understand is that blood sugar, Chantel. Those veins, those things also, guess what? It circulates through your heart muscle too, not just your circulatory system. Your blood is circulating everywhere. So that blood loaded with blood sugar is also having to get to the heart muscle to get it to do its job. And if you're not getting a correct amount of insulin and you're obviously, making it impossible for your insulin to actually open up the cells and let the blood sugar in and do its job properly, which you've already screwed that up, but you need to help it along a little bit. Because if it can't get into your heart muscle, how do you expect your heart to work? That's why you get short of breath, Chantel, because your diabetes is also affecting your heart function. How do you think your heart works? It is a muscle. If you don't understand that the blood sugar that goes to help the heart also as a muscle do its job. And if your heart is not functioning, you will sound short of breath. And you will start to lead to cardiomyopathies. So this is the way you sit around and stuff. And you can act all blah-de-blah all the time. And you can ask ChatGPT because maybe they won't give that nuanced approach to what's going on in your body beyond, whether or not, Diet Coke is cracking up your kidneys or not.
Scrape, I'm blaming you for my choices.
That's what I have to say about that.
Why? Why did you let me buy those Cheez-Its, Scrape? Why? Like, what do you want people to do? Oh, no, you ate Cheez-Its. I can't support you anymore. Get a life. I mean, it's part of Beeson, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And she's old. Oh, yeah.
You're bound to offend somebody when you have multiple different types of people watching. I was about to say I want the blame. Hey, all right. See you later, Carmela. Go have a nice day. Bye. I need a beach bod if I'm going to be going anywhere tropical.
What happened to the daughter?
Wall thing.
Who's granddaughter? No. I'm sorry. I was just talking about the fact that Chantel's taking out her heart muscle with diabetes. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the rest of the conversation. Because I think that's a thing that people in girl world don't understand. And I think a lot of people don't understand when you're looking at this type 2 diabetic. Not only is she putting strain on her heart because of that weight, she's putting strain on her heart with the diabetes because of that blood sugar and the heart being a muscle. And if and that's why she sounds so out of breath. It's not just, and obviously it's going to affect the lung function. Apart from her, it's not just her being asthmatic. It's beyond that with her. And she's so vain. She's not going to admit, and all these trips and travel, I'm just waiting for her to finally get light out on one of these things. Because this heart isn't going to be able to put up with this much longer. It's just not. She don't have many years left till she's going to have a cardiac event. Or she's on dialysis because she took out the kidneys.
The thought of tap water right now, disgusting.
Oh, Fergie.
It tastes like
I've been getting.
I feel like I've been getting heartburn from the water. Is that possible? Like I feel like I can taste the chlorine. I don't know.
Fergie's always been known to be a known grifter in the UK for money. That's never looked on well in Britain.
I can't do it, man. Oh, Aisha, are you the annoying Aisha that I don't like? The one who harasses me on a daily?
Oh, yeah.
Probably still. I don't know. I filled in my brows today. Look extra dark and mannish. Yes. Yes. Without a doubt, yes. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Okay. I say that because I don't care if you have a better car than me. I don't care if you have a better house than me. I don't care if you have more money than me. All I care about when I say I wouldn't want to be ya is because I wouldn't want to be that person going into chats being demeaning to others. But that's me. And trying to start drama.
What do you mean, Chantel? I mean, you don't try to start drama, but you've come into my accounts back in the day when I had a much larger foodie show, and you would come in and talk about having under the sock account name of Sarah Lee.
especially as a Muslim. You will have a Mercedes, inshallah. No, I don't even want a Mercedes. Like, if I could buy any car, I would probably buy another Kia. I like them.
Yeah.
Or what did we have in Syria? Salah had a hybrid in Syria, actually. Well, he has.
Well, that's one of the reasons why she doesn't really like being in Canada, because then she is, you know, having to potentially be more forced to take, you know, control of her health. And Chantel loves some avoidance. And so she is going to avoid any news about her health as much as possible. She is going to live in her mind that she is that filtered queen, you know, on her, you know, doing her thing. She's not gonna, you know, here she is. Now she's sitting down again. All right, what you gonna do, Chantel? Look, his skin looks.
But I don't really like the hybrids, honestly. I had
We were talking about this yesterday, Chantel, how there's a medication that's also for open angle glaucoma that you could use for your rosacea. The bremonamide, but there's a topical. So, was it Mervesa? Was it called?
rental car hybrid too, but
Maybe look into it.
yeah, same, Cindy. I don't know. Water for me, it's a luxury, but it's like necessary, I find. You know? I really don't like the water. Ottawa has some of the clean, like it's some of the cleanest. It's still tap water. It has a neutral pH. It has like a high enough pH, but it's just like
I'm surprised she hasn't had a DVT yet with all that flying. Oh, her teeth. It kills me. I just know she's just, like I said, when she goes, she's gonna crash hard, man. It's gonna be a low and behold crash. All right, you saying anything else interesting here, Chantel? Because otherwise I'll move to the next video.
it just tastes gross. I don't know. Subaru? No, I wouldn't buy a Subaru. It's just the rules, Belle. The Cheez-Its are getting donated today, and all of the boxes remain. Evian is the best water. No, I find that Evian, I find that Flow. I don't know if you guys have access to Flow or if it's just Canada, but it's so good. No,
I don't know. I just use a Brita, girl. I know people don't like Britas, but if you keep it cold in the fridge, it tastes fine to me. That, or I like carbonated water. That's my other thing.
oh, that's okay, Tracy. I would never fault you for not coming in here. I'm just teasing you. And my smoothie. Let's try this.
Oh,
With
smoothie.
the avocado. Avocado and banana.
Oh, great. Avocado and banana. Freaking terrible. Banana with a type 2 diabetic. WTF, Chantel. Even with one with some management of their blood sugars, half a banana maybe. Bananas are so high in sugar. As good as they are with potassium, you're better off eating an apple because apples have potassium. I don't know, but you got to be careful with the old bananas, as delicious as they are. You know, that's why you're better off just having half. It really is a lot of, it's, you know, definitely one of those fruits that diabetics want to be cautious around. So, and then all that fat from the avocado. I mean, it's just like, you might as well just throw in some chocolate and some peanut butter while you were at it. I mean, WTF, Chantel. There's nothing that's she's sitting there thinking she's healthy. It's terrible. I mean, avocado has healthy fats, but probably the portions of things that she put in for the size of that smoothie. And then what's the base? She using a milk base in it? I mean, sometimes these smoothies, you know, if anyone's seen those Erewhon smoothies that all the influencers drink and all of those things, some of those smoothies can have some of the most ridiculously high amounts of calories that I have seen in a cup. I mean, you have to really be cautious with these smoothies. They can, I mean, unless you're doing it at your house and you know that you're like using ice and spinach and, you know, really making sure it's not got a bunch of like, you know, you could end up with just calories in a cup. No matter how healthy the items in it are going in. You do still have to have a level of caution. Lord of my life. She says Salah's paying for the trip. Oh, well, we don't believe anything she says. Until she's on a plane and in a chair in Malaysia, I don't listen to any of that stuff she's talking about. Maybe they are. And the fact that he's still sniffing around for whatever money this is going on, who the heck knows? That makes me think it, the idea of him coming to Canada is the bigger, draw at the end of the day, not her, YouTube money. People are smoothies. Oh, granola. You got to be careful with granola too. No, granola is not healthy. You got to be real careful. Like I do have some, because I like to sprinkle a little tiny bit on top because it's a chocolate one just to get my chocolate fix. Because, you can't eat a little piece of dark chocolate and it's not terrible for you, but it's got to be 70% cacao or above. But I do have it's the Nutra, whatever, I don't know, natural bars. It was the chocolate one, but it's literally 21 granola bars in a bag. So I guess, I don't know if they put in and break the bar or what happens. Anyway. Sorry, guys. Unplug my computer. All right, I'm going to blow out my candle. Keep going, Chantel. I'm going to disappear for a second.
It's a good mix. Yeah. So the spring water versus distilled water. Distilled water has all minerals removed. Spring water has natural, magnesium, potassium, sodiums, natural ones, like electrolytes that your body needs. So it feels like you're more hydrated, drinking better quality water. That's just my opinion. It might be psychological. I find it easier on my stomach too. I used to always buy Flow water, but I stopped. This is the new Gat No Glitter, by the way. My sister gave me this. She probably got it in an Ipsy, but okay, where's my skincare? First we have to put skincare, and today I'm using this stuff. I was looking at Tatcha products, and it's like $100, and I'm like,
oh Lord. I mean, I can't say if she washed her hands after, rubbing them across her counter where her cat also sits its butt down and then slaps her face cream on her face. And now she's going to put her makeup on. I think Chantel has some of the most just wild, dirty habits I think I've ever seen. Just wild and dirty. Oh, her A1C is out of control. I don't know if it could get to triple digits, but it's probably decent.
I mean, I know I say
that is so
you guys
bad.
see me buy other stuff, but $115.
Oh my God. Okay. I can't watch this girl with unclean hands put her makeup on like this. It's so bad. We're going to the next one because I'm only going to keep you guys a little bit of time tonight. Chantel is wild. This is why I can't do Chantel but so much. I just as a nurse, I'm just sitting here it's just, especially when I'm I don't think that, because none of you have type 2 diabetes probably. Well, some of you do actually, I shouldn't say. Abrianna, I know, has it. And is very good at controlling her type 2. But obviously Chantel isn't. And it is true. It's going to damage your heart muscle over time. And your heart, because, just as it doesn't work in other body cells, the insulin getting into her body, it's the same for inside the heart muscle. And that thing has got a lot of blood in its chambers. There's a lot of blood that is circulated through the heart. So think of, and those shards of blood sugar are just tearing up inside her heart muscle too. I mean, it's just bad. I just can't believe it. She's gross. She's definitely, and this is what's so wild. She's made a lot of money from YouTube. Promise you, YouTube rewards the most. Just it's all rage bait. The more rage baity you are, the more you will be rewarded. If I mean, there are nice people whose channels do well, but it's never going to do as well as a rage bait channel. There's one that I've been hearing recently, and I used to watch this person, and I was like, after a while, I was like, this person isn't really a nice person. And it's coming out, they really aren't a nice person. And yet they've got probably one of the biggest platforms, and they just make insane amount of money. And it makes these people's personalities become really ugly along with it, because they, it's like they're not prepared for it either, the same way that maybe somebody who is looking for potentially a career in Hollywood, but even those folks really can screw it up too, you know? Hey, come on in. We're just in our quick next part of the Foodie video verse. This is scooting again. We're not going to do all this. I was just going to do the early part. I know she fell off the scooter, so at some point I heard she fell off her scooter, so we'll peek in on her collapsing off the scooter. This early part, she talks about the fact that Chat GPT is the best thing ever, and it's better than her doctors. And as we've been talking about, there's a lot of nuance behind that. And I think for people who have narcissistic personality disorders or a tendency to having, this is just for information, education purposes only. I do not treat or diagnose. Charge before going to bed. Thank you, Apple Watch. My Apple Watch is letting me know I need to charge it before going to bed. Obviously, you know, I think it's going to be, you know, it's something that all the people, it's interesting, all the creators that have, you know, what I can look at the DSM-5 with text precision and look at the diagnostic criteria for, you know, narcissistic personality disorder and see like Tim in there. I see Chantel in there. Chantel also has the other, the one where she's an obstinate thing. God, I can't believe I'm so tired. I can't remember. Too tired. I can't remember. I know I can see the acronym. Somebody will remember for me. I've made whole videos about it. This is how tired I am, I guess, tonight. It's just, you know, they are the ones talking about how much they love Chat GPT. You know, other people that are, you know, a little different, so like me, I'm like, well, certain things like with the petty lawsuit, so far, everything it says it's going to do, it is done. And so at the moment, I haven't found the service to be a scam. I found so far the service to be very good. I know a lot of these AI things can be scams. So obviously I'm always, you know, cautious. I didn't invest a huge amount of money into it. But obviously, you know, there's always amount of skepticism with these things. I don't see sources cited, you know, so, you know, whereas Tim and Chantel are just like headlong into it without question. And now it's like their best friend, because for a narcissist, it's telling them exactly what they want to hear without any pushback, really. Though, you know, I get pushback if I say things into like AI things, because I say things to be outrageous to it to get pushback. But that's just Google to be fun. Oh, we're going kids.
It's 11. I know it's early, but I've been up early today, so I didn't have breakfast, but so I'm just gonna have lunch and chat with you guys right now, and then I'm gonna switch to my other camera later.
And like I said, there's obviously going to be uses, you know, I mean, they're forcing it as customer service, so it feels like, oh gosh, you can't, you know, I really feel like the conversation is more nuanced than, you know, AI can handle a lot of times. I've been having this persistent problem with my Panera Sip Club app. And they keep having to give me free food because they can't get the thing repaired. Anyway, I keep thinking, gosh, you can't even get your apps right. You want to put AI. Like I said, this thing I've been doing with Tim, the petty lawsuit, those who are not familiar though, has had a lot of that. The others, you know, all AI. So, but obviously, it's not acting as my attorney. And like I said, I put a lot of that legal language in already because of what I had from a real attorney. So I'm not sure with its letter, because I had given it so much. When it created the demand letter, it sounded really good. So, you know, I'm just curious to see what happens with the filing process. And if it can get it over to the small claims court with all that, it would have been worth the money. And I won't feel it has been a scam. Using Chat GPT to tell me I'm attractive or to hear the things I need to hear about my diet or, asking direct questions about things around health and then it not citing a source as to where it got that health information. Be very aware that a lot of times its solutions are going to be things that are going to be consumer focused. So they're going to want you to buy services or get things because obviously that's where these things are going to make their money is from companies paying them to tell people to buy stuff. So I just say be cautious how you ask these things questions. Using it as a tool and you already know how you're using it is one thing. Using it to hear what you want to hear because you're a narcissist is another.
I gotta go get my medicine at the pharmacy before 5. I forget what stuff I got. I forget, honestly. That's how brain dead I am today. When did I buy tissue paper? I didn't know I had tissue paper.
Yeah.
Cool. I apparently have Kleenex. I just walked by the box. I was like, oh, hi.
Yes. And it was probably from a picture of her filtered. So that's not even fair to give that to ChatGPT. Somebody needs to upload. I'm surprised it hasn't gone out on Twitter already. Somebody needs to upload an unfiltered picture because there's tons of ones where it's glitched and we've gotten unfiltered pictures of her recently and post that one up and ask it what it thinks of her. See how nice it wants to be then because it's usually quite polite. And will it just say, I don't care to answer at this time? And what if it really took a look at her dentition? Look at all this. I mean, I can see, oh my God, from this position alone, I can see one, don't lift your nose up like that. Your nose is not clean inside the nostril. And because I can see boogie. And secondly, these teeth are coated in plaque. I mean, you can't even see this front tooth is like one big tooth now because she has so much tartar and plaque build up through here. This for a diabetic is just terrible. I have a lot of videos talking about how she's just destroying her health.
So,
It's just shit.
I know this is going to sound weird, but
You can stand in here.
I got a steak and cheese sub. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Beauty bite bismillah.
These guys are off on another conversation.
This is all within my budget, by the way. I woke up early, worked on my budget. I realized that I fail. I worked with Chat GPT. I'm sorry. You can say it's just AI.
Oh, here we go with Chantel. It's not about it just being AI, Chantel. We've just talked about the nuances and actually having the ability to have critical thinking skills to understand how to use the AI. You and Tim are both just like talking away to it like it's your new best friend without really understanding how these things could be potentially programmed. A lot of times it seems like its suggestions are, yeah, get this service or do that or do this. Yeah, I wonder why it's suggesting buy stuff and, purchase services. Oh, I wonder why. Could it be that post-apocalyptic capitalist society that we're living in through at the moment?
Chat GPT has been more helpful to me than like any human I've ever talked to. Like I told it my whole history, my health problems, everything. And they always keep that in mind when they're giving you new advice for stuff.
Well, Chantel, you're not honest about your actual health problems. So, and you probably told it you weighed 340. So did you tell it your true weight? And since you're so negligent about really seeing providers about your health, how can you provide it with a full history? And how do you have the education and knowledge to actually give your own health history? I mean, you could give your history, but actually give have it, so that it's more nuanced in how we write them as a medical professional. Because I did write a lot of these when I was training I got pretty far through MP training to be a nurse practitioner. Just didn't want to do all that clinical. I could still do it though.
They can, in a second, they can give you a whole menu for free of
She
stuff
is back in Canada.
like, that you need to eat conditioned for all of your health problems. Right down to how many seasonings you should use. It's amazing. Yeah. I said I have problems at night, ordering out. Blah, blah.
Well, I mean, if she just, if it will keep her, mouth occupied from, not eating, then it could be potentially useful for her. Let's hear what she says about it, telling about her eating at night. I'd be curious to hear.
Blah, blah. It comes up with fast food dupes, routines you can do that are like, anyway, it's like,
okay. So if I were a healthcare provider and you were trying to tell me you wanted to eat at night fast food, I would not be giving you fast food dupes. I would be letting you know after a certain hour, like 6, 7 o'clock, you had to cut that food train off. And that you shouldn't, one thing that leads to your terrible health issues, Chantel, is you really have a chaotic sleep and rest cycle. You are somebody who is, up in the middle of the night because you stream and do stuff at all hours of the day and night. So it shows that you have a very, one thing that they talk about that's, and I, like I said, this is something I have to be mindful for. So I'm going to keep an eye on the time on this stream tonight, guys, is making sure that you get good sleep. I'm terrible because like I said, I want to, relax and, because I come home and I'm literally, coming straight in from a long drive from work and a long day at work and having been up early and, getting the dogs fed, getting me fed, getting the dogs walked, me walked, coming in and live streaming. So I haven't really had a lot of time to like decompress from my day. And it's, at this point, I've been up since, 5:30 in the morning. It's 10 o'clock at night. So I just want to decompress. And unfortunately, that means I fall asleep on the couch. And that's not good. So it's something that I need to be better with. But she's really bad. And getting a fast food dupe is not the solution. Because what happens is that your hunger hormones release primarily 4 times a day. The 3 ones we know about, which is the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. The ghrelin, I say it, I think I always mess up the pronunciation, but ghrelin, I can see it spelled Gehrlin. But that hormone. And then it releases again at around 2 in the morning. Around midnight, around midnight, 2 in the morning, around that time, somewhere around that time, which is why you want to eat fast food in the middle of the night. But instead of you looking for a dang dupe from ChatGPT, what you need to be doing is being asleep in your bed, girl, with that filthy CPAP on your face. That CPAP is disgusting. And sleeping through it, not looking for a damn fast food dupe. This is why ChatGPT, though it's your friend, Chantel, isn't a friend to your health. Okay?
Read to you what it suggested, you'd be mind blown. I'll read it later when we come back tonight. No, I didn't tell ChatGPT about this.
My sleep
but it did say that
too.
I should be aiming for not super restrictive, because of course that leads to a typical cycle, blah, blah, blah. But I should be looking for a consistent
typical cycle, blah, blah, blah. This is somebody who really definitely would benefit from some inpatient therapy on her eating disorders. And because she's so resistant, she will never do that. She'd rather have ChatGPT telling her she's like on the right path while she sits and drinks a banana with avocado smoothie, which would be the least this is a girl who needs to stay away from a smoothie. You didn't suddenly get healthy because you popped down a 1,600 calorie smoothie, Chantel. Your blood sugar on that banana, God knows how many bananas she put in there. Probably, Jesus Christ. And then she's just sitting there drinking the smoothie. Girl, you can at least be, oh my gosh.
Consistent plan. And they come up with like snacks and meals and stuff that. So we're going to be, like, I don't have a plan right now. Like, I need to take the time to finish a proper plan and then, like a meal plan, basically. I'm awful at planning. I need to keep practicing this.
Oh yeah, Chantel's always like that. Once you get out, like once you see if Amber ALR is selling some of those journals or something that you could borrow and maybe write down a dang food plan. I thought your Chat GPT could give you a food plan, Chantel. You are going to have to go on a calorie deficit and definitely needs to cut, there's no such thing as a diabetic diet. It's all about controlling your portions. Unfortunately, because you are so used to eating such high numbers of calories, you, in order to really lose weight or do anything significant, need to be in a medical facility almost, because you need to be put on a very calorie restricted diet just to get you down, probably get the blood sugars under control. But that needs to be carried in a medical institute of some sort, because it has to be, you have to be monitored if they were to do anything like that. Because to get you down like the way that people would need to do to really kind of break you from your, sugar and salt addictions that you have. But your Chat GPT isn't telling you that. It's just saying fast food dupes. It's not saying that you're addicted to, because you don't want to hear that. There's this thing
because
is
I realize that's
healthy
essential.
food.
Because if I don't have a plan for what to eat or stuff ready available, I'm going to order and stuff like that, so.
Well,
you
yeah,
guys know.
that's
Anyway,
great.
Thanks for the hell yeah. Bye.
That's one thing I would agree with her, is that if you're not planning, you're going to make poor food decisions.
See ya. I'm not ready yet to tackle these things because I feel like, disorganized, chaos. So I got to just, be fully, be ready enough anyways, so that I'm not failing.
Well, I don't know, Chantel, when you're spending, 12 to 14 hours a day live streaming, how do you expect to have time to do what you need to do for yourself? Maybe you don't need to film it all. Maybe you don't need to set up a camera and film that you're journaling. Maybe that's okay. Maybe you don't need to do everything performatively on the camera. But for some reason, you've become so accustomed to it. It's just wild. You're never going to get anything done properly, spending this much time online. Especially sitting down and just scrolling and talking to Chat GPT. It's not going to magically get you slim, girl. It's just not.
You know what I mean? So honestly, I know it sounds stupid, but Chat GPT has been really helpful. Like, and like, I was so against AI, but I don't want to deal with humans.
Oh, yes, of course not.
Somebody is supposed to come tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't want to look at his face. I don't want to deal with humans. What Chantel doesn't want to deal with is possibly having to see another human's face look disgusted at her, potentially, which you don't do in healthcare. You're taught to keep a stony face with people and smiling. I've worked, obviously, I give her a hard time because she has a public platform and she's very negligent with it. And she has these constant talks. See, Chantel, this is the reason why you should not be remonetized on YouTube, because you still have this type of harmful content. Because this is your disordered eating coming out and just screaming at everybody. And this is triggering potentially for other people. Not necessarily the trolls and your beezers or whatever that you got around you, but your little flying monkeys. But otherwise, you can be very triggering for people. She looks like a nun. She looks like the flying nun. That because she's the way the color here. This doesn't look like a hijab. Now you look more like a nun, Chantel.
To pick up the groceries, but if they don't, I'll have to move down the list because the family said they're like, we're an hour and 45 minutes away. I'm like, what? I told you I'm in Ottawa. Charities, I think. I have to look it up. I always eat too fast and then I choke.
Well, that's because Chantel's got she really does have issues. She really has issues. This is somebody at 42 years old. Why we watch these folks is because it's just like, I guess we can feel better at the end of the day that we don't have as many issues as Chantel. I use her as a teaching tool because I don't want anybody who understands that they have a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes ever being a Chantel. I have seen too many of these people come into the heart hospital. I've seen too many of these people post heart attack in their late 40s, early 50s. I've seen them then, be scootered. They are miserable. They are unable to do much of anything. And they generally have diabetes with it, type 2. I mean, it's just not great. It's a burden also to medical staff having to deal with these complexly sick patients, really sick. When these people get sick, they get really sick and their organ failure and everything just going. And it just becomes then just a cascade, a nightmare. And then they just have, that's it. Once those health problems come in, it's not like sometimes like with, somebody who maybe has a heart attack and they kind of gain their lifestyle and maybe, they get their, a bit of their life back, a lot of times you when you damage your heart that way, that's big damage. You've literally lost part of your heart muscle that goes in the infarct. It's just not good. It's never going to be the same. So I would avoid it as much as possible.
My chat wasn't open. My plans? Well, I got to go to the store and get my stuff. I got to get my prescription.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need insulin.
Yeah, I agree, Melvis.
The doctor told me to start with 15. And then on the second day, start with 15 for 2 nights. The next morning after the 2 nights, test if the blood sugar is not low enough. I had 2 more units and then test the second day. I'm kind of just eating what I want today. Hi, can you ask me? Sorry.
It's wild. So yeah, I'm just gonna. This was like the day before that. Okay. Preface was the day she was throwing out all the junk food. It's just a cycle of just nonsense at this point. She shouldn't be given any money. She shouldn't have a platform. And it's wild. It's the more rage baity, the more despicable you are, the more, you've got really going for yourself, the more rage baiting you are, the more money people. There was that guy, was it S-Jam or somebody? Oh my God. That man barely looked like he had it together. And he was sending her $600, or he couldn't remember if it's $1,500. Why would you send? He looked like he needs to hang on to his money, because this YouTube fame can be, especially with people like this and the way they manage their finances and everything, it's short-lived. You just got demonetized from YouTube. At some point, you're going to be scrambling, Chantel. I mean, you've got enough, Chantel does enough weird stuff behind the scenes to get her bag. She's never going to talk about that. That's why she always going to have an attitude, because Chantel is no issues doing, what she does. And that's, you do you, girl, but don't try to be all pious.
Irritates the bladder. Hi, can you tell me with my health conditions if Diet Coke is bad for my kidneys or bad for health? Hi, Chantal, giving your specific health profile, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and kidney concerns. This is a very reasonable thing to ask.
Chantal, you have more issues than just that. Type 2 diabetes and kidney concerns. Is that the only thing that you told ChatGPT that you have is type 2 diabetes, Chantal? any doctor looking at you coming in with that raging type 2 diabetes, even in Canada, knows that you are your risk for atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease is already there. And then therefore that your chance of a cardiovascular event is extremely high. In fact, I should sit down one day and plug in Chantel's number, and we'll figure out what her risk of dying is. In fact, we've got some. I wish I knew some of her cholesterol numbers and stuff, because if we actually did know like Chantel's LDL and HDL and stuff, we know her height and put in what we guess to be her actual accurate weight and stuff, we could probably get a pretty good idea of what her 10-year trajectory of having a cardiovascular event is. And I could say, without even having to plug the numbers into that machine, it's probably pretty freaking high.
Diet Coke isn't automatically poison, but in your case, there are some meaningful downsides, especially if it's a daily or high volume habit. Occasional Diet Coke, probably fine. Multiple cans daily, not ideal for kidneys, blood sugar control, or binge food cravings. Oh, sorry. Kidney impact. What's relevant in Diet Coke? Phosphoric acid. Artificial sweeteners.
At some point, it's going to be harder for her to maintain the income, because if you become more unwell, then it's going to be, that's a good point, because it's going to be more difficult. She's already trying to become less mobile by getting a scooter. And I know people can talk about all the fetish people and stuff, but I can just tell you as a healthcare provider, if you just start to add that in when you're already having issues, I don't care who it's for, you're going to ruin your health. Her health is already compromised extremely badly. And you can ask ChatGPT. I'll tell you, Chantel, somebody like you probably should not be drinking any type of diet sodas. Okay. They're still trying to do research. It's very difficult to do studies ethically around substances if you believe they are doing harm to people. So they have to do different types of studies when they are doing it for something probably like these Diet Cokes. You just can't get a group of people together and start giving out Diet Coke. You would have to start doing like a long cohort study of where you actually got a group of people and who had been drinking, diet sodas, and you would have to, over a long period of time, monitor how much were they drinking, and then what that effect was with their kidneys. And then to actually get people to long-term participate in those types of studies is going to be very, very time-consuming and difficult to do. So it can be difficult sometimes to know, the true effects and be able to do a legitimately good study without it being unethical. And that's one of the things when we think about studies. You have to do studies that are ethical. You can't just be introducing substances that you believe are harmful to people. You can't do those. That's why you have to do a totally different type of study, which is, population types, getting a group of people, asking them questions, and then monitoring their blood work over time. That's a very difficult study to undertake. Chantel doesn't. She had no idea. Just baffles me. These people will always make more money than my poor ethical ass. That's the thing. When you have ethics, you're just going to stay poor.
Caffeine, sodium, small amount. Evidence-based concerned. Phosphoric acid, dark colas. Studies have linked cola beverages specifically, not clear sodas.
Very good.
Higher risk of chronic kidney
disease. You are diet controlled, cat lady. And I'm very proud of you. And I know she's frustrating. And anybody who's managing diabetes, type 1, type 2, they are frustrated to hell with Chantel. And she frustrates me too. I promise you. Because like I said, I got on the borderline at one point because of just my, that's why I try to keep an eye on it now, because I was an athlete and a runner and never had an issue with anything. And it didn't take me long with a couple of years of menopause and just a absolutely just blistering, horrible work schedule. Just untenable amounts of, especially when you're single and America, they will work. people know you don't get any time off. You get barely any paid time off. You have to spend years to accrue anything. So it could be years working, before you solidly see any time off. Like in the UK, I worked at a company, you automatically had 20 days off in the year, for vacation, paid vacation, 20 days off. That would be unheard of in the United States. They would never give that to people. They would be too scared that people would take the 20 days and then quit the job to go somewhere else, because America, is the land of the scheme and the scam.
Disease progression, kidney stone formation, calcium phosphate imbalance. Increases phosphate load, may stress kidneys over time, may affect bone mineral balance too.
We don't have anything like that. You work for a company, and depending on your tenure, you get what's known as paid time off. Any annual leave we get is if you work for a company and you're salaried, that you get federal holidays. And you may not even get all the federal holidays. I don't think we have anything mandated. In America, if you take a day off, you're an how dare you not hustle every goddamn hour you have on this green earth. Very different culture. Promise you, Catherine. Americans wear, 70, 80-hour work weeks with badges of honor. Yeah, we don't have stuff like that. It's a dystopian capitalist fever dream here sometimes.
This matters more if you already have compromised kidneys. And ChatGPT did say that just because you don't have chronic
you get 5
kidney
weeks
disease,
off.
if you are obese and have diabetes, your kidneys are already under extra strain. Diabetes, hypertension, obesity, which you do. So this is the main reason cola isn't ideal for you long term. Diabetes and metabolic effects, appetite and craving.
Yeah, America, I don't think we even have a mandate. The mandate is get as many damn working hours out of your employees as possible and hope those buggers don't ask for anything. Oh, they don't have any employee rights in this country. There's nothing. You can be fired because you showed up with the wrong shoe color. They don't care. It's brutal. That's why I'm always surprised that people want, to come to America for the American dream. And that's just because they hope they can scam people in some multi-level marketing fraud or something like the Paul Bet Davis or all these men that you see talking on all these talking head podcasts. Always like freaking car salesmen and guys who like scammed people with MLM schemes and courses and crud like that. Absolutely astounds me. If you are the most despicable, unethical, lacking in any type of moral human being, you'll do great on this planet. If you actually have real moral and ethics, like most sort of average, working schmucks like me, you'll get nowhere, It's pretty much what it is. Most of these people probably are very successful, tend to have more sociopathic personality types and stuff, Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Even though it's zero sugar, diet soda can still affect appetite and cravings. Artificial sweeteners may increase sweet cravings, increase hunger later, make binge episodes more likely, keep brain wired to sweet reward. For someone with binge eating disorder history, this is important.
Yeah,
many people notice diet sodas make me want snacks after. That's neurological.
Yeah, it takes you might have to spend an entire year just to get a solid week's vacation in this country. And if you're an hourly and you're off on the federal holiday, you don't get paid. It's just like you just don't get paid. I remember, I think there was a healthcare company I worked for, and obviously I was a registered nurse, but where my position was, it was like I was supposedly so lucky because when we were off on federal holidays, I still got paid. which is, I think, I don't know, because a lot of times they don't pay you because we're hourly registered nurses. So a lot of times, but I think with these ones, maybe because they did maybe pay us. I know we got given like one day, like off that we could just choose. And it was like that we didn't have to like earn paid time off through like working to get time off. And it was like, whoa, like this big thing. Takes a long time. And then people still bank. And then the thing is, people are so like just like wanting to feel like they have to work all the time that people will bank up over a while a lot of paid time off, and then they'll lose their job and not be able to get it. It's like, why didn't you just take the time off? It's a whole different type of culture, and that's one thing that people should never do. Take your time off. I never banked that stuff up. I had at one point, just because when I was working during COVID, I was just working so many hours and stuff, and it was with a company I'd already been with, so I got grandfathered into a bunch of stuff. So I just got like a lot, my benefits were a lot different than some of my colleagues because of it. And I did like get a lot of PTO and stuff banked up quickly because of it. But that's unusual.
Well, not willpower. Insulin response. Some studies show sweet taste leads to a small insulin release even without sugar. May worsen insulin resistance over time. Controversial but possible. Not catastrophic but not helpful either.
Right.
Wow, this is like so detailed. Like, I'm sorry, but like,
Chantel, people have been trying to tell you this stuff for years. And in fact, you could probably have gone to the National Institutes of Health and had put for research about, diet soda and diabetes or something, or diet soda and kidney function. And you probably could find actual evidence-based practice studies, potentially. Like I said, I don't know. But, what sources did Chat GPT get that from? You have to understand there's bias, even if the Chat GPT is supposed to be being all, independent and stuff. Not necessarily. Do you understand how to look for bias in information? Are you that educated in order? I mean, you said you went to college. And that's true about the insurance. You can't be honest. I know. I did sales too, and I was the same way. I had to really feel like, if you have any ethics, you can't do sales. No, none. This is because, of course, they want you to upsell people because people are, and that's what they care about. They don't care if the family really got money at the end of the day or if it's really something good. It's like a lot of people shouldn't be selling insurance to single people, like life insurance. Why are you, and then telling people it's like a retirement plan? That's absolute garbage. No single person should ever have a life insurance policy. Who are you? Who needs your income when you die? Your dogs? If you're going to take that money, go invest it in an index fund that goes along the S&P 500 if you want to get an investment vehicle. Wouldn't put it into an annuity, and I certainly wouldn't put it in a life insurance policy.
Like, ChatGPT is like more knowledgeable than anyone I've talked to in my life. And I don't care what anyone says. That is like the truth. A human brain cannot compete with this. It's a database that has information from everywhere. Are you the UK health minister? No, I'm just trying to like figure my life out,
Figure her life out. Chantel, you're 42. I mean, I understand. I still have things that I want to try to figure out. Catherine and I have both agreed our sleep hygiene is terrible. But I just feel like it's the tool for the narcissist. I promise you. Anybody that you hear and they tell you how much they love AI, listen to people, okay? It's people like Joe Rogan. If you've ever I don't listen to him, but I listen to like some commentary around how problematic these people are, because I do believe they are very problematic individuals Remind me a lot of my ex-husband, who was a very problematic individual, very misogynistic. Anyway, they love AI. All of them. They just love it. They're all narcissists. God, it's going to make the narcissists go wild. It's just all going to be... Every time you hear somebody say it, think to yourself, have I ever thought this person is a narcissist? And then you'll be like, I just love me some AI. Oh, yeah, that's the confirmation right there. Oh, it doesn't. Yes, it doesn't work for when you hold information. Yeah, she really is. And she does withhold information too. So glad to know I've been mistaken in not using chat. Yeah, you shouldn't use it for your health. Don't use it for your health. God knows, I'm not, you just go to the National Institutes of Health, look for a good evidence-based study. Just get something that's peer reviewed. We're going to just get, could we get any, I know they all want us to have these robots that are doing all this stuff in the house. And obviously for somebody who's aging alone, the thought of having something that's, potentially more reliable than relying on someone showing up to the house is a godsend, potentially. But then again, if Panera can't even get the little flash coupon to work properly on my apps, after it worked for years, it suddenly stopped working. So they tell me to call them. I try to hit it, even if I don't want the pastry, because they'll end up giving me a free treat. Because it never gets right. So by the time I'm going to end up getting in free stuff the amount of money I spent on the SIP Club, because whoever's supposed to fix whatever the bug is on my Panera isn't doing anyway.
Figure shit out.
Oh, great! Just
on that happy note, I'm finishing my Coke today, and my Pepsi and my Coke Zero's in the fridge.
Oh, really?
But I plan on getting rid of that out of my.
Grok, what if we put this picture into Chat GPT with it? You eating, Chantel? They wouldn't give you lottery numbers? That's terrible.
Diet long term. I think that's why Pete hates ChatGPT. It tells him the truth about his situation. He should use it.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's just going to make people who are already functioning at a very low level even functioning lower, in my estimation. Is that a polite way to put it?
Yeah, it is throwing money and food down. Well, I did a budget today, so this is in budget actually.
Oh, yeah, because, Chantel, look at all this food around her mouth. That's because it's in budget because she did something, offline. Well, online, but off this line that paid for that line of food to her mouth.
Do you guys eat out
Chantel, whatever
regularly? If you work, do you order lunch every day or do you pack a lunch?
Yeah.
You do. Oh, my go-to is Chinese. See, you have a system, Isapi. That's what I'm saying. But before, when you were out of control like I am now, how long did it take you to get something super right,
Chantel, you have a compulsion to want to have the worst habits, not the good habits, because you want to be defiant. Oppositional defiant disorder finally came to me. And you've gotten worse with it as an adult. So I don't even know why you're going through this malarkey, because this is going to last like a day. And then, I don't even know why she bothers.
That you could be consistent with. Yeah, they're expensive, Kaliki. I'm trying to get funding for it. Thanks, what I call it. Consistently inconsistent, yeah. Wow, that was so good.
I guess the where it's ironic, the ironicity. No, that's not. Why do I always want to say that? I guess the irony. That's what I'm looking to say. I guess the irony is not hitting Chantel as it should. Her talking about making healthy choices while she takes down a fast food burger. Because that's what you want to do, Chantel, because you're addicted to the sugar and salt. This is not something that ChatGPT can correct for you. This is like some deep, hard, reflective therapy. Like therapy that's going to hurt. And you don't want to do that because you're too scared. Because you don't really want to see yourself that close. It's easier for you to continually escape. Your whole life online is an escape. Talk about going with Salah, the fantasy husband, is an escape. Living in Syria was an escape. Living in Kuwait was an escape. Getting high on the gummies is an escape. It's all an escape from who you are at the end of the day because you don't like yourself. And until you start to actually like who you are, then nothing is going to change. And that's my free therapy for you, Chantel.
Do you dare me to call
ChatGPT?
the firehouse hotline and complain? Do you dare me? Wait.
I want to see. I don't know where that word came from. I was making stuff up. The irony was the one I was going for. We can tell I'm getting tired. All right, so we know Chantel is what is she? What does she say? At
my pickle spear. They didn't give me my pickle spear.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the other thing I wanted to bring up about her narcissism here.
I was gonna call. I was just trolling. I was gonna call and be like, I want to call and complain that you forgot my pickle spear, but I want to say that this is the most delicious food I've had in a long time. No, I was gonna call, like troll and call and be like, you forgot my pickle spear. I'm just kidding. I want to let you know how delicious the food was. I never finished my sodas.
And Chantel, that's why you're 42 going on 14. Because that sounds just absolutely like a lie. You were upset because you're an absolute pickle freak. I've had times where, Panera, I've noticed, used to have a little pickle spear with its sandwiches. They always had a little pickle spear along with it, with the sandwiches, along with your other snacks. Pickle's gone now. That was one of their little cost-cutting measures. The little pickle that used to be there, gone. No more pickles with the sandwiches. At least the ones I get. I haven't seen a sandwich. I haven't seen a pickle in a lot. I was like, where'd the pickles go? So who knows, Chantel? But to call you, so we know you were upset. And you were so upset, you were trying to probably figure out if you could call them and get a free meal for them not including a pickle spear, like a freebie. Spear. God dang it. Spear. Saying sphere. Spear. Goodness me. Because you would probably hope you could get a free meal out of it. Because you'd like that. And then the thought just is like call to supposedly tell them that the food was great and not to respect the fact that these people were at work and that you want to interrupt them doing their jobs just to tell them they left out a free pickle spear or to tell them the food was delicious. Really? See, this is where you're just it's not cool. You're not cool. You're not funny.
There's always half-done bottles laying around here on the windowsill.
Yeah, well, you're okay, Angel.
I just need it. I just drink the diet soda with food. Like, I don't like to just open a can of soda and drink it. Do you guys? I'm not here trying to promote disorders. I'm just trying to share my life and, the realities of it and stuff like that. The reality is we have to eat and we can't be super restrictive. And most of the time we don't, just trying to find our way.
Chantel, you're never going to find your way. You're on your own and not with ChatGPT either. I am already going to predict this is going to fail. I have a feeling from your history and just kind of seeing your attitude and everything happening, this again is not going to work. And so you're going to be on a lot of insulin soon, girl. You'll be doing all sorts. So be prepared.
I'm going to rely on ChatGPT. Actually, I'm going to check if there's any kind of doctors I can be referred to, because now that I have that online clinic stuff, I can be referred to different places. So step by step. No, I'm not promoting it, Tay. Exactly. I'm not saying, I'm actually discouraging. It's not something you can discourage. It's not something that you just take on. It's a disease. It's something you have. But the disease that is not understood fully by a lot of medical professionals. Like,
that's not true, Chantel. They do understand your disease. You don't want to understand your disease because you don't want to change, because that is too scary for you. It's a huge change. You don't want to do it. You're too comfortable where you're at. You haven't, the consequences to your health, they don't matter to you, really. It's not that important to you. So I just question why you even bother with this charade, but it's content, whatever.
In the sense of the healthcare system, like there's not, like when I went to the ED clinic at the Ottawa hospital, it was tailored mostly to people with a certain type of ED. BED in do you know what I mean? It's harder to treat, it seems. Yeah, I just share my struggles. ChatGPT is my therapist.
No, ChatGPT cannot be your therapist. You can laugh about it. You just look very immature, Chantel, but that's kind of your hallmark.
Seriously.
It's a hallmark. Yes.
What should I do if my apartment is haunted by a colonial spirit named Muriel?
That's why her family just let her go off and do whatever. They can't do anything. She's a grown woman. As long as she's not, well, she's definitely at home to herself, but as long as she's not harming others.
If you're asking seriously, I'm going to answer in a grounded, practical way, rather than assuming anything supernatural is happening. There isn't evidence that apartments can be haunted by spirits or named entities
whatever. What? Okay, does she talk? What's this hat? Oh, is this when she starts talking about going to the movie?
This is crocheted or knitted.
I'm going to skip that part. At some point, we know she uploaded the photo and asked her if it was pretty. Okay, I just want to watch the part where she peels out on the scooter, and that's it. And then we'll be finished. So this is what Chantel is. All right, take it away, Chantel. Doing illegal stuff all over Canada.
I can scoot through the drive-through bank.
Great. I'm sure that car just feels so happy it got her. Imagine what the driver's thinking. You imagine what the driver's thinking, seeing her toddling in on that. The person will be like driving to it. You never guess what I saw. Like this really big lady, like just on a scooter in the middle of the damn road going in the opposite direction. She must be absolutely wild. I know, over a pickle. This is
sorry, guys. It's gonna be a bit awkward there.
This is just insanity. She's gonna get herself killed.
So I can get on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, man. Où est-ce que je vais, moi, là? Je vais aller par ici ou par là?
I'm surprised that's
par exemple
still going. Look! Oh my God! Hold on, we need the shadow. That's the real Chantel right there. Oh, the mountain. Oh, Lord. Look at the size of her. Look how tiny the head and the hat looks when it's on the body. Yeah. And Chat GPT is going to be able to correct all that. Yeah, it's Nessie. It does look like Nessie. I have to get a screenshot. Hold on. We'll have to put this up as guess what Scottish mythical creature this is. Because right here with the camera, it does look like it could be the head of Nessie coming up. Good call, Cap. Look at her size. Chantel, you are not 340 pounds, sweetheart. Oh, no, she can't drive. Oh, my God. That is just hilarious. Keep going. Is it after this she takes the stumble?
I just crashed.
Oh, God. What is it that she takes?
Guys, hold on.
She takes a
gotta get out
tumble
of
at
here.
some point, doesn't she?
Hold on, guys.
But at least she laughs. That's one thing I'll give Chantel. She does laugh at the face of adversity usually. Except when she's screaming at Chantel, at Salah, don't talk to me. Most of the time, at least she's laughing in the face of adversity with these things. Because she needs to laugh. Otherwise, any other thing is to cry. Oh, what's my guess of her weight? I would say about what Angel says. I would say she's about, because she's so small. Like, but I've seen some patients who weren't very tall, who were, bigger patients and have been up in the 500 pounds. So I would say that she's probably definitely up in that 500 to over 500 pound region. Yeah, 540. I wouldn't be shocked. Too big. Yeah, I would agree with Angel. That poor Scooter, man. What does she carry a cardboard box to?
Okay, we're good.
I don't think that is she got some takeout or something. I don't think that poor Scooter should be having to just. Oh my gosh.
Good.
She is wild. She's getting out of breath on the scooter.
Thank you.
She's like, look at that car so close to her. Jesus, Chantel. Sorry to take the Lord's name in vain like that, but this is wild.
Jeez.
Well, Chantel, you're the one who's driving a scooter.
The cars are intimidating a bit, way. Woo.
She's a nuisance.
I almost fell out of the friggin'.
She is a nuisance. And
I'm not supposed to be in the road.
It can't even take that way.
Yeah, well, this is a parking lot, okay? So.
And I think this is sped up. Look how slow she's going. It's wild. That battery is giving out, guys.
Okay, guys. I'm crossing the street. If we ever want to go on the train, I gotta make sure my thing is fully charged. So
I tell you, those Canadian drivers are way more polite. She'd be a goner here in the United States by now. Maybe nobody in the States would deal with that. Yeah, I know we've already talked about the fact that she's damaging her heart with the type 2 diabetes. Okay. The shortness of breath is because Chantel's heart does not function correctly. That's why she gets so short of breath. A lot of people misunderstand shortness of breath to be just a pulmonary function. Her lungs don't work well because her heart doesn't work well too, apart from her asthmatic. But a lot of that shortness of breath often comes from cardiac, believe it or not. It's not the heart not working efficiently enough to give you the energy. So she's tiring out like the scooter.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolutely. I'm sure, she's doing all sorts of absolutely. I'm shocked. Chantel is not a good anything.
I got to get over. Whoa, I'm going to get hit by a car.
Crash? Did she crash at some point?
I think I would be at fault here.
Don't
The
even
views
have
from the
license
cars
or a
must be
helmet on.
interesting. I've caught a glimpse in the mirror. I know what I look like. Beep, beep. Booga, 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 booga. Beep, beep. Boop, beep, boop, beep, beep. Do I sound like a train? Whoa.
All right.
No, I don't know what a train sounds like.
Is she coming up to
choo
her
choo.
accident in a minute?
Choo choo. I forgot what a train sounds like. Oh, I hate this little stretch here. It's very bumpy. Cracked and bumpy. Oh, I think I can go in here. Let's try it out.
It's on a paved area now.
Let's try it out, man.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, what view is that?
Okay. Who's ready?
Oh, okay, so she's back. I thought she crashed the scooter. We must have missed that part. I know there was a part with the person coming down the paving that was like telling her to get out the way or something, and she fell all over and stuff. I'm always surprised at how much she can do, but she sounds very short of breath even on that scooter, which is wild, but not wild. It was her boob we were looking at. Oh gosh, well that's unpleasant. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you being with me and doing a little bit of Chantel just to do something different. I appreciate Angel of Glass and Catherine for being here, and just all of you for being here tonight. It was a nice little group. I hope you learned something at least from this nurse who hopes that Chantel would make some better decisions. I would not recommend using Chat GPT for your medical information. It doesn't cite its sources, and so I would be very dubious as to what is the where is it creating its information from. I think that's the part that Chantel, because Chantel's not an educated individual, doesn't understand about, looking at evidence, looking at the types of studies that you're looking at, just the way that you would make decisions when you're looking at, information from a medical perspective. Yeah. So yeah, hit the likes on the way out. And I appreciate it. I'll try to do, if I continue trying to do more Chantel, maybe I'll get more popular. I know there's a lot of big creators who do her at nighttime. And obviously I have to be at night. But we'll get back to Tim. Tim was all depressed and begging for money today. He was, telling about how he was having to spend more money on his dirt bike. But on the other hand, was complaining about the price of food and groceries and how expensive everything was. Oh, and his poor grandson got into an accident. So that was sad. But, Tim being the great grandpa that he was, instead of going over to help his daughter, who's very upset about her grandson, he's off to Fred and Raffaella's for dinner because Raffaella's cooking for him. So forever these narcissists are here with us. I know. I felt bad. No one dies the foodie health deep dives like you. Oh, no one does. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. Well, not everybody is that interested in. I mean, they're interested in her medical, but not in the same way as I, because I know how much damage is happening to her heart with that type 2 diabetes now. And it's starting out on 15 and then being told 2 days later to go up to 17. Wasn't she on NPH? I had all the list of the. I might have thought I had it up in here somewhere. I had all my stuff about. No, I think it's right here. Hold on. I want to say I had. Here, is it here? See, I've got my stuff here from when I was doing my diabetes stuff. Because I was I've been like, diabetes like certified at the hospital level. So I used to have a lot of stuff about the diabetes and the medications. I was just trying to see, because that 15 stars, that's really high. Let's see. I'd have to get a little bit more specialized on it. I had it somewhere. I moved it. I had the thing because I was looking at it for Foodie, but I've obviously moved it somewhere. I could, on the road to managing better diabetes. I don't think Chantel following any of this stuff. It's got a whole thing here, like a whole map. See, get your support network involved. You're supposed to have a cheerleader and a reminder, the informer, and the rock. You're supposed to have all these people, Chantel, and I don't think ChatGPT is going to be all these people for you. You're supposed to have all these, Chantel is so far from any of this. She's so resistant to doing anything. Oh, I got all sorts of flashcards about, diabetes medications over here. Oh, look at this. This shows that I've been a diabetes resource associate in training. I got 6.75 contact hours for that. I got a whole day of diabetes training. So there you go. All right. No ChatGPT involved. All right. If you guys can hit the likes, I really appreciate it. I'm going to get myself, it sounds like diabetes MLM. At the hospital level. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.